I remember during a timeout in the first quarter seeing Bronny. And Bronny looked over at me, and he had this sad look on his face.
Good luck.
And I'm imagining Pop saw that it hit him.
Nah.
And he couldn't hold it, and he rolled up on me.
Nah, Bronny was like, hey, good luck. Pop's about to run up on you in about 2 quarters. Be prepared. That was that, get out of here, Stephen A. Like, just lead the game. I know you celebrating your contract, but Pop's going to come at you, and I don't think you're ready for that, so.
And then they plaster on SportsCenter 0.3 points, 0.3 rebounds, 0.4 assists, blah, blah, blah. And I said, damn. Why? Because I'm like, now I can't ignore it. Because how am I doing my job?
Stephen A. Smith talks about the altercation with LeBron James. Check out what he had to say, and then I'll come back with my comments.
What do you make of LeBron confronting you in the aftermath of that situation?
Here we go.
I thought it was weak. I thought it was some bullshit. But in the moment, I knew that I was listening to a father. Here's what happened.
Sure.
I'm represented by William Morris Endeavor. The founder of William Morris Endeavor, Ari Emanuel, had courtside seats right next to the Lakers bench. He had Larry David with him, star of Curb Your Enthusiasm. I'm sitting with them. I get there in the first quarter. I'm sitting courtside, and I stand up, and then I got my head turned. And then I turned back around, and a lot of people thought this was the end of the game or something like that. This was in the third quarter.
I thought it was over, too. That was the end of the game.
Apparently, LeBron had walked out of the timeout, and I turned around, and he's right here in my face.
Like
He
the
said,
boogeyman.
yo, you got to stop talking about my son. You got to stop with my son. That's my son. That's my son. And I was like, what? He said, nah, that. I said, yo, let's talk later. He's like, that. Nah, you got to stop with my son. And I said, all right, dog.
Stephen A. should have called the cops on LeBron, man. I'm with ESPN Disney. We don't get down like that, man. You better take that tone out your voice and really come correct. But in all seriousness, I know Stephen A. Smith always talk about, I'm at the games, pull up, I'm here. LeBron, he definitely pulled up. I think he overdid it, was out of line, but still, Stephen A., he keep a certain type of energy, but I don't think he expects those type of confrontations. So when that's brought to his table, you notice his vibe and energy was off the next day on First Take. Even on his podcast and on the countdown shows, he didn't really want to have that type of energy, and LeBron definitely shook him.
And he walked off. So I remember during a timeout in the first quarter seeing Bronny. And Bronny looked over at me, and he had this sad look on his face.
Good luck.
And I'm imagining Pop saw that it hit him.
Nah.
And he couldn't hold it, and he rolled up on me.
Nah, Bronny was like, hey, good luck. Pop's about to run up on you in about 2 quarters. Be prepared. That was that, get out of here, Stephen A. Like, just lead the game. I know you celebrating your contract, but Pop's going to come at you, and I don't think you're ready for that. So, nah, Bronny was giving you smoke signals. You should have listened to his face and just left. You never would have had that confrontation with Bron.
And so when I went on the air the next morning, first things first, believe it or not, I know this is shocking for people to believe, but I didn't have any intentions on talking about it until I woke up that morning and saw that the shit had gone viral.
Nah, wasn't
Once
that.
the shit had gone viral, the bosses at ESPN,
Yep.
now you got to talk about it. This is you and him. You got to talk about it. I said, fine.
Yeah, I know Stephen A. likes to talk about the power and stuff he can do with ESPN and the contract, but just know if they going to spend $100 million on you, they got to make that back times 10 over the next 5 years. So when you have these viral moments, yeah, you may not want to talk about it, but stuff like this, you already know the producers, the executives, they're going to give you that green light, no matter if you like it or not. So just be prepared. I know you're a hard worker, but you making 20 plus M's a year. Oh yeah, you're going to have to do all types of stories you may not want to do, and this was one of those ones.
So I go on the air and I said, the first thing that I'm going to do is establish that this was a father talking to me, not a player.
You had to pivot it.
And that was what threw me off. And I was glad, even though I thought that he misrepresented the argument, I was glad he did. Because you see, what he was really talking about, which was confirmed with his conversation with Richard Jefferson, is that I was talking about him as a father.
And that's what I was saying too. It's bigger than Bronny. It wasn't just, okay, leave my son alone. It was, you making me look bad. I'm supposed to be the greatest player of all time, the GOAT. I can't have these type of stories or these type of narratives put on my name. So yeah, shout out to Bronny, shout out to my son, but you're basically questioning me as a father. So I think LeBron had that type of energy and maybe a little bit of Bronny stuff too, but it was mostly about LeBron and his ego.
And so what happens is that had he said that to me, then I wouldn't have been thrown off. I'd have came right back at him. Yes, I was. I was talking about you.
No, you would have
You
folded.
did this, which I'll get to in a second.
You would
But
have folded
because he
still.
didn't do that, I said, fine, you let it go. Mind you, I just agreed to my contract.
Getting that money.
Courtside.
Congrats.
That day was when it was announced. It's all over, everywhere.
We talked about
I
it.
be right? Yeah. It's a nationally televised game. The cameras are
that.
rolling, and I'm like, if I do anything, this is gonna be a scene. Now, we can sit up here in front all we want to and act like we don't work for somebody. Damn it, I work for Walt Disney.
Yeah, you got to stay in line. You may have wanted to turn up, but deep down inside, even if you weren't working for Disney, I don't think it would have been that situation. Just the respect that you got for LeBron and just everything surrounding him. Maybe another player, I think you probably could have went off because think about with the whole Jason Whitlock situation. You were going off, so I think it's more about the type of person that was coming at you, just as opposed to it just being you working for Disney and ESPN. So you're not going to come at LeBron like that because you know the ramifications that may have.
And if I had gotten into some shit with him at courtside right there at that moment, no matter how right I would have been, it would have been wrong. And I was like, I'm not going to do this. But once I saw the tape of him talking to Richard Jefferson Saturday night in Boston, that was when I got really pissed because that was confirmation. Now let's get to the father thing. And I'm so glad y'all asked me about this because all I would ask is that I've been around for 30 years. Tell me the parent that said they heard me talking about them. I've never done it. What happened was this man was the one that said, You want me, draft him. I'll come play anywhere he's at. It ain't even about the money. This man is the one who said he's better than some of the NBA players are right now.
Yeah, LeBron definitely talked too much. He should have really just let Bronny go to the league. Even if you're going to pull some strings behind the scenes, I think LeBron definitely talked himself into a hole, talked Bronny into a hole. So people going to be critical of Bronny at times, and they may be critical of LeBron, but he can't be pulling up on everybody. He going to be fighting the whole entire world.
When he was in high school, if you go back and look at the tape, back then I said, stop. You can't do this. If you do that, you're bringing more pressure on your son. LeBron, stop. I said it then. This is before he got drafted. Stop doing this. He goes to USC. He got the heart ailment. I'm like, thank God he's okay. He gonna be all right. But I'm not gonna go see him at USC, just like I didn't go see him at Sierra Canyon because like, I ain't see Melo's son. I heard your son is all world. I ain't see him. Your son, I never saw these guys until they came pro because I know it's not that. Okay. I know that because of who I am and what I've established for myself in this industry, if I walk into an arena, everybody is looking for me to critique that person. And I don't want to do that because they want to come up.
Yeah, Stephen A. been consistent with that. A lot of people question why hasn't he talked about Bronny? So I get what he's saying. Don't want to bring any attention to it. That's why I feel like LeBron crashing out was out of line.
I'm not covering college. I'm covering pro.
And they kids.
Huh? And they kids. Well, I'm saying that, but if I was a college reporter, then I would have had to. But I wasn't. So why am I going to be there? I didn't want to put that extra pressure. So I never went. I went on national television and announced to the world, I'm not going to see him. He goes to USC. I'm not going to see him. It's too much. It's too much. And then now he's got to overcome this heart ailment, so I can't judge him. But then they said, oh, he going pro. So then once you say he's going pro, okay, you're talking to the scouts and the evaluators and everybody else. Yo, man, this is them. He'll be lucky to be a second-round pick.
Oh, yeah.
He'll be lucky. He ain't ready, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I ain't seen him, y'all. I haven't seen him. Then all of a sudden, Rich Paul and others at Clutch, and then the story headlines follow. Boston might be interested, Golden State might be interested, Phoenix might be interested, Clippers might be. You start hearing all of this, and you're like, this could be true, or this could be them wielding their magic to make it look such a way. I say nothing. He gets drafted by the Lakers, which everybody knew was going to happen because, the skids were greased, and he gets drafted.
Yeah, it was definitely some manipulation by Clutch, LeBron, Rich Paul. They may not admit to it, but they wanted this story to happen with LeBron and Bronny playing on the same team together. It was a legacy move for LeBron. So, Bronny was pretty much a casualty. We're going to get him into the league. He may not be ready, but, this story is really for LeBron way more than it was for Bronny. But Stephen A., he tried to keep it cool, didn't really want to comment too much on it. He did talk about the manipulation of the draft. He threw little shots here and there, but he was never direct with Bronny. It was more of a LeBron, Clutch Sports, and Rich Paul type of thing. But I guess LeBron remembered all that, and it made him look bad, and he had to crash out on Stephen A. at the Lakers game.
I still say nothing. He goes into the pro. It's opening night. Now remember, most cats talk about the league. I cover it. What I mean by that is that you can give your opinion. You might not be on the phone with the commissioner. You might not be on the phone with the executive VP. You might not be on the phone with other people that work in these offices. I am. So because of that, I'm hearing all of this. Yeah, we just going to go along with it. Opening night I'm talking about. Opening night. Him, Bron. We just going to go along with it. Or you hearing the Lakers are just going along with it. You're hearing this stuff. Now, I'm not saying they told me that, meaning the commissioner or Jeannie Buss, but I'm saying you're hearing that from those organizations. So I'm getting all of this. I still say nothing. I'm at crypto.com reading.
Yeah, Stephen A., he was too nice. He really played the game, played the Clutch Sports game, but it ended up backfiring on Stephen A. Even though him and LeBron, I guess, never had that type of relationship, he was extra cordial, extra careful, walking on eggshells when discussing Bronny James, even to this day, still giving him shout outs, still saying he's going to be a player, an NBA player one day. He believes in him, doesn't want to judge him with all the situations surrounding Bronny in college, the health situation. They're always going to kind of use that as an excuse, even though it's a legit situation. At the end of the day, you can't keep bringing that up every single time, 10, 20 years from now, when we analyze Bronny James' career to use the health situation. I feel like it's a bad look for Bronny. Yeah, it took him out for about a year, but you got to move on, and he's playing much better in the G League, but still, people ain't really saying anything crazy about Bronny, so by LeBron crashing out on Stephen A., it just made him look terrible.
I'm one of those cats standing
Staples Center.
Ken Griffey, Senior and Junior, who all-stars, Hall of Famer.
Stephen was
and
glazing.
Ken Griffey Jr., they got them there. And again, I've been covering it for 30 years, not NBA, sports. You understand? So how you think it's all looking to me? It's a little bit too choreographed. But I'm still. I'm still like this. Congratulations. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm thinking, let's have this moment because LeBron deserves it. The brother, I got him number 2 all time behind Jordan, right? He's done so much for the league. He's generated so much money. I don't want to hear about Bronny and the $8 million. As far as I'm concerned, LeBron underpaid. That's $8 million he should have had in his pocket. It's no big deal to me. But the one thing I did say was that one game right there is the moment. Now you got to go to the G League. and earn your stripes.
Again, Stephen A, he played the game correctly, tried his best to be cool, but it always backfires when you play the game that way. When you don't keep it all the way real, you're going to have real situations like this, or choreographed situations like the stunt LeBron pulled at the Lakers game running up on Stephen A. Smith. So even though Stephen A. Smith is trying to stand on business, I know he's hurting deep down inside because he got played by LeBron, Rich Paul, and Clutch Sports over this whole Bronny James situation.
Instead, he's playing and playing and playing, and I'm getting stats, and he go against Philly. They put him in the first quarter, and
That's the one.
Tyrese and them gave it to him. And then they plaster on Sports Center 0.3 points, 0.3 rebounds, 0.4 assists, blah, blah, blah. And I said, damn. Why? Because I'm like, now I can't ignore it. Because how am I doing my job?
Yeah, that's the sad thing. You can't keep it real when it comes to anything LeBron, Bronny, anything. If you say anything that may be critical in a, critique type of way, you're going to be looked at as the bad guy. You may get canceled. You may lose sponsorship, brand deals. So you kind of got to either say good things or don't say anything at all when it comes to LeBron and Bronny. But, Stephen A. Smith, he's in a position to where, all right, I got to say something. I'm getting all these 20 millions per year, hundreds of millions of dollars, all these deals. So it's going to make Stephen A. look a certain way if you don't keep it real with Bronny James.
If now you put me in a position where because they put the stats up, everyone is blowing it up. They're putting it on all their social media pages. And it's like, how did all of that's happening? But Stephen A. Smith got nothing to say. I can't get away with it no more. So I go on the air and I say the same thing I said over the summer. Yo, LeBron, if we see this, you're his dad and you're a basketball savant. You must see this. Don't do this. Because you're putting him under such a microscope. It's going to be too much for him to overcome. Give him a chance. So that's what I said. And because I prefaced it by saying, as a dad, the only reason I said as a dad is because you marketed yourself as his dad to help him get into the league. You didn't do that. Melo didn't do that, or hasn't yet, and I know he wouldn't.
D-Wade,
Tim Hardaway Sr., Rick Barry, the list goes. None of them did that.
So, yeah, when you put it like that, LeBron, he's really putting it out there like, look, this is my son, Bronny. I want to be on the same team, play on the same team. I'll go wherever. And if someone's kind of trying to reason with you, as a father, not speaking about you directly in a negative way, just like on some real stuff like, hey, chop it up with Bronny or chop it up with the Lakers. We know you run the NBA, so go ahead and throw Bronny in the G League and let's try to forget about him for a few years. Maybe he can come back up to the NBA and be a solid player, but I hear where he's coming from. I'm all about Bronny playing as much as possible in the NBA. Maybe not on the Lakers, but maybe a Washington Wizards, a team to where he can get some legitimate minutes and don't got to worry about playing for LA, being on the same team as his pop. So this whole Bronny James experiment, it isn't going too well as far as the NBA, but shout out to him. He's playing much better in the G League.
None of them. He's the only one. And I said, yo, that's why I'm saying this to you. I don't want to do this. I know your intentions are honorable. Go back and watch the whole tape of me saying it. I know your intentions are honorable. I know you don't mean harm. But there's some vultures out here, and they going to come for him. And how many times over the years, to get to your point, in terms of what you asked me about what you expect from me, Stephen A., blah, blah, how many, find the brothers in the industry that will tell you, I did not give them a lookout. I go up to them all the time. Yo,
right
come here.
He going off.
I'm not going to be able to help you if you get to this point. You need to stop this right now because it's coming. It's coming. That, to me, is where I reach back and I pay back by giving cats the heads up of the minefields, because I've been here for 30 years. I got fired. I lost my job. They thought my career was over. I've been through all of this, all of it. And I'm like, yo, I know where the minefields lie. And I'm telling you what's coming. And then this go down and everybody act like I never said none of this.
Yeah, he been keeping it consistent. You may not like Stephen A, certain things he says, the views, but at the end of the day, he's been consistent when it comes to the whole Bronny and LeBron thing. Like, yo, chill out, LeBron. You put in unnecessary pressure on Bronny. He's not better than most of the players in the NBA. He's not even better than a lot of people in the G League, even though he's having his moments over the last 2 weeks. But still, Bronny got a long way to go. But even still, if you're Bron, you should really just kept your mouth shut. Don't say nothing. Don't bring no extra attention. Still get him in the league how you was going to get him in the league, but there was no need to talk about all this extra stuff when it comes to Bronny. And Stephen A. been trying to give him the word like, look, bro, chill. He didn't chill, and this is where we're at with Stephen A. and LeBron James.
I gave the heads up.
That's too easy for people to do. That's too easy for people to do.
Right.
So we shouldn't uplift our kids? Like, we can't
I'm sorry, I
talk
couldn't
about-
hear you. You said what?
We can't uplift our kids? We can't say he's better than some of the players in
You
the
got to
league?
be truthful.
What you mean, true? It's my son. If
I don't give
I-
a your son suck.
good
Your son
regardless or
suck.
not. I don't give a but it's no son.
Your son suck. He suck.
No.
Yes.
No, but he
Yeah,
don't.
not in his heart.
No,
Yeah, I understand.
he don't,
Listen, you
though.
can
He-
be that dad,
What is it-
but
he's
you
doing-
made it to the high. You're not trying to
But-
live, but you
but
not
how
trying to
much he
live
average in the G
vicariously.
League?
You're not
So
trying
obviously he
to.
don't suck.
You're not trying to live
I'm
vicariously
seeing
through your
something
son.
that y'all
though, Nick.
seeing now, and I seen it. So
Nick,
do we
I'm not
suck
saying
now?
Bronny suck, but I'm just saying
But you just tell
you.
I hear what you're saying, Kenyon, but essentially you are saying Bronny sucks. Because if Nick Young says that about his kids, like he's the greatest ever, you got to be realistic. So are you being realistic with your Bronny James criticism?
You
Yeah, I
honest.
can't
You
uplift my
honest. Yes,
child.
you can be that. Listen. I coach Little League rec girls basketball. Right? Trust me when I tell you, some of them parents being there cheering they fucking heart out for their child.
Yeah.
You supposed to. It's my child.
You see that product. They ain't got nobody athletic in their family tree.
Whoa.
Man.
Listen,
They're looking for an anomaly.
They ain't
my
got
son
athletic
not
bone in
there.
their
My son
body.
average 20
They ain't got
points right
athletic
now.
bone in their family
Yeah, my son
tree.
average
And they got their child out here and they out in them motherfucker with signs and
Right.
go get them.
But what I'm saying, this all
Your
started
child need a
because you
helmet.
said my child is better than some
They
of
don't
the
mean
players in the
that.
NBA.
They don't mean that.
Yeah, that's the thing when you want to be like overly excited and you think your kid's the best player ever. But again, LeBron, he kind of just overstepped, and I don't blame him for it, but he just kept talking himself into a hole. Keep talking about Bronny. He's the greatest ever. We said the same thing about LeVar Ball, but he was catching a lot of backlash. But, you know, LeBron saying it, you know, he's LeBron. He can say whatever he wants. But now hindsight is 2020. It made Bronny look a certain way because now all the media scrutiny, the backlash, now it's in Bronny James' direction. Now everybody's covering Bronny James, but if LeBron would have just, you know, kept quiet, didn't say anything, I think this whole Bronny James experiment, it would have went a little bit different in the media, but it is what it is. You know, he said what he said, and now he got to deal with it.